Good morning, everybody. Wow, look at all the birds out there. Storm Deirdre is on her way, apparently, and we're to expect all the usual stuff with the storm. High winds and rain and perhaps cold weather. I'm not too sure because I haven't had the radio on for the past couple of days, and every time I try to check something out on YouTube, there appears to be a bit of a problem with only receiving the UK weather forecasts. I keep putting in, weather for Ireland, and it's not coming up. So I'm thinking to myself that the weather just stops at the border there. Well, it doesn't really matter if I know the details about the storm. The fact that a storm is coming is enough to know. So I've been out this morning putting out lots of grain and lots of food for the birds, and just checking that there's nothing loose hanging about. Well, there isn't. There usually isn't anyway, so it's very grey out there, which of course is foreboding of a storm. And the birds are very noisy this morning. There's obviously a lot of them. Now, very much earlier, about an hour or so ago, when I looked out, the pheasant was there. Now, the pheasant seems to be making an early morning call here to Bealtaine on a daily basis. So he's obviously sussed out that this is a good feeding ground. And there's sometimes as many as 4 pairs of blackbirds, which is very unusual because blackbirds are very territorial and they will fight off other birds. But then I'm thinking to myself, well, if there's a really good surplus of food, they're not going to need to fight. And that appears to be very much so. So I'm just going to go out the back door. I'm just stopping to look around me here. Now, thank you, Tara. I have your little diffuser on and it is absolutely fab. And you can see that's my chair where I sit and do my work. Now, just a little call to mindfulness here on my part. I do have quite a few calendars left, so it would help me out greatly if you haven't ordered a calendar to place an order now. That would be really good, and rather than ask for donations, although your generosity has been noted. There are some of my subscribers out there, some of you out there who are generous to a point, and I do deeply appreciate that. But I like to think that I earn my keep here, that the stuff that I put out on social media about Bealtaine Cottage and the videos I put out, which are all, no advertising, so I don't make anything from advertising. I like to think that the appreciation comes via something else that I give, which is the writing that I do and the calendars and the maps. So if you can find it in your heart to support Bealtaine Cottage, especially at this time of the year, we're coming towards the end of the calendar year, the Gregorian calendar, and I'd like to think that I wasn't carrying over calendars too much into the new year. I know that some of you will probably purchase in January, but if you can make a purchase now, it's deeply appreciated, and thank you very much. But I shall go outside, because that's where I was headed. And I don't know if you can hear that. There's a lot of high wind. I know it seems quite gentle round the back here because of course I'm sheltered very much by the hill up there. But you can hear the rain, and there has been a fair amount of rain as well because I have the little pipe going from the rain barrel here just to carry away the surplus water, to take it away from the back of the barn. And you can see there's quite a little stream there. I'm going to duck back in. So this is one of the reasons, of course, why Ireland is very green. I've seen a comment on there that I think Widdershins, you answered that comment for me, and thank you. About there being no snow here, that if this is winter, why is there no snow? Well, of course, we get the Gulf Stream here in the west of Ireland, especially in the west, and so the climate's quite a gentle one. It's not usually a climate of extremes, but having said that, we have been encountering extreme weather events which has been happening all over the world. And why, rather than refer to climate change, I refer to extreme weather, because everyone gets that, and you can't argue with that. It's not up for debate. We're getting extreme weather events more and more. But the west of Ireland will stay green for much of the year. And rain is usually the only thing that we have to deal with in terms of harsh weather events. Jacques has his ears back. He knows that there's a storm coming. He always takes a very, he always develops a look of apprehension, you know, sense of foreboding. Now look down there at the pelargoniums, they're still in flower. And, let me just have a look over here in this windowsill as well. Pelargoniums here are still in flower. And the salad boxes are still doing good. Now talking of salad, I have come off my little juice fast because I spent a short while on it, about a week, well, just over a week. But what it's done for me, it has centred down my tastes again, because I was beginning to develop my sweet tooth once more, and it's the sweet tooth which really does it for me. You know, it creates havoc with my taste buds. And it's probably like a sugar addiction. I know that there's a lot of people out there who are realising that all the processed foods and all the sugar and fat in the processed foods is causing what can only be described as a sugar and fat addiction. And the highly processed foods, again, then causes havoc with your health. Because if you're going to carry extra weight, you're going to expect to have poor health, unless you're very young and robust. And so what I've done yesterday morning was a start. I felt very inspired to start having smoothies with lots of green in them. So using my Magimix, I packed in about 4 tight handfuls of fresh spinach, and I put some almond milk into that, and I also put 2 medjool dates for sweetness, because dates add that sweetness which makes the smoothie very palatable, for me anyway. And I put 2 heaped teaspoons of milled chia seeds, you know, ground chia seeds. What else did I put in there? 2 small, very, very ripe bananas. They were starting to go brown, and I thought, what will I do with them? Because the freezer was filled. So I didn't have any room in there to freeze the bananas. And what else did I put into the smoothie? No bananas. I put 2 teaspoons of something else. Oh, I can't remember now. But anyway, it was a fantastic smoothie, and it actually filled me up for most of the day. I didn't have anything else to eat then until about 4 o'clock. And I felt very energised because, of course, the greens, you know, the spinach. So I got some more spinach from the tunnel yesterday, and I'm going to have another smoothie now this morning. So this is kind of opening up another easy way of getting the nutrition that I need. Because let me tell you, as you kind of go past menopause, and I'm talking really to women, but also to men in terms of age, your body actually needs to have more goodness, more vitamins, more minerals, more nutrition. And the way to do it is through as wide a variety of food. And especially if like me, you don't eat meat, fish or dairy. And please, no comments about where do you get your vitamin B12 from. I'm so sick of looking at those comments. People need to research vitamin B12 because a lot of people, including many meat eaters, are deficient in many vitamins, not just vitamin B12, but there appears to be a fixation on vitamin B12. So yeah, it's all about just getting as many different, as wide a variety of vitamins and minerals and proteins as you can get. So, yesterday was a fantastic day. I felt very energised, very full, very satisfied. So I'll keep you in touch with that and what I'm doing. And hopefully I'll get round to doing a few little, well, not exactly cooking videos, but because you should know by now my cooking videos are torturously all wrong. I shall leave the cooking videos to the experts, okay? There's probably hundreds of thousands of cooking video sites out there on YouTube, and all done wonderfully. So I'm not going to dip my toe into that. So here we go. I will, oh, there we go. I will go and get dressed because, of course, this morning being Saturday, I felt almost obliged to stay in my gym jams and dressing gown because it's the weekend. But now with this storm approaching, I need to get dressed and start into the day. I'm going to post some links below where you can purchase the calendar if you decide to do that. If you do, thank you so much. I deeply appreciate your support. There'll also be a link below for the books. That's The Cottage in 3 Acres, the first book, In Search of the Goddess Rising, the second, and the Bealtaine Cottage Guide to the Deep Midwinter. And of course there's also the magical, mythical map. So thank you so much for supporting Bealtaine Cottage, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you for sharing the videos. And blessings to you all. Have a lovely weekend, everyone.